I want you to relate this to one we saw out west. No thorns on this one. Those are just branches. Just where the branches are, the leaves that come off, they're not really thorns.
The bark.
It look like anything you've seen.
The bark's very different.
Look at the leaf and see if it's like anything you've seen.
It's alder, isn't it?
Not an alder. It's one we saw out west.
Yeah.
Now, is this one that has
Two of them in my yard I never seen.
Are those little leaves?
Those are just little leaves, just baby leaves. Yeah, see, get on up here and look at this kind.
See, this looks kind of warty.
It's warty, kind of like me.
So is it a wart something?
No. It will have berries on it later.
Is it a mulberry?
Not a mulberry. Which one? Hackberry. Now, if you remember, we saw hackberries out west. Probably a different one than we saw, but
Hackberry.
remember, we're into grouping
Look at the
things
leaves.
together. And this one and the one we saw out there are very similar, aren't they? Not the same, but similar. So we group them into the same genus, and those genera that are related, we're going to group into families. That's just what the taxonomic system. But it's a hackberry.
So do a lot of trees have those warts?
Yes, a tree, if you go to the Heritage Center, you'll find that we take the wood and the bark as two major divisions. If we cut this in cross-section and looked at it, we got the wood and the bark. The bark is everything from the vascular cambium outward. The wood is everything to the inside. The cambium is the meristematic tissue, stem cells if you're in animal business. Meristematic means that it can carry out cell division. As it carries out cell division, what happens to the diameter of this tree? As we lay down new cells to the inside and some cells to the outside, it just keeps getting bigger. The bark has the cambium, the phloem, and someone said in the 5th grade you talk about phloem and xylem as vascular tissue. Well, that's the vascular. The phloem conducts the organic materials primarily in the plant. The xylem, which is the wood, conducts water and minerals primarily. The bark then is the cambium, the phloem, cortex, and a cork cambium. Cork cambium now would produce what? Cork. And these are cork cells out here on the very outside. And many trees are recognizable by the nature of the bark on them. Look at those pine trees. Kind of look scaly.
Almost like an alligator.
The sweet gum right next to it has long fissures in it. So the bark this is not bark, that's cork tissue. Bark is a region of the stem. But can you see the layers in this one? So each year what happens to that cork? It gets bigger, thicker, but then ultimately out through here what happens to it? Cracks, sloughs off, worn away. Redwood trees have cork layers this thick on them. You ever use cork redwood bark in your flower beds? Man, it's this thick. But if you look at it, it's layer after layer after layer after layer of cells. So this is the cork. And this corky part on the outside of many trees is very characteristic. What about up here? It doesn't look like that.
Because it's younger.
Yeah, when you get old like me, you look like this. Hackberry.